Hello everyone and welcome back to Hustings. Oh, I love you too. Hope you've had a nice break. We're now going to go straight into Hustings again with campaigns and communications. So if we can have Rachel and Jordan up to the stage, please. Jordan, you're going first, if you just want to go straight up onto the thing. Welcome Jordan, everyone. You have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hey, I'm Jordan and I'm running for campaigns and communications. It's time to refresh, re-energise and redesign the way LUSU communicates and promotes itself. I want to redesign the LUSU website because it's old, out of date and nobody likes using it. We need to make it a place that people want to go, people enjoy using, and things where students actually get a benefit from it. I've had a lot of experience doing this. I've recently redone the filed website, and we've been getting emails saying, oh, I saw this on your website, can I get involved in Extrav committee? And this is something that's never happened before. If we make it a place that's constantly updated and constantly the best it can be for the students, then people will want to use it, and it's a great tool that we can put out lots of content on. I want to re-energise officer promotion, making it bigger, better, and multilingual. I know this is probably the wrong time to say this to you guys, having been bombarded with stuff for a week and got a week to go, but it's something that we need to put out there. We need to support the JCRs in helping get it out at a really grassroots level, not just putting pictures of cows on the spine. We also need to have it as not just the 2 weeks, but a year-round thing, where we have a booklet that tells you what LUSU is, who the people in charge are, and what each of the positions does. This can be available on the website, so anyone can have access to it all year round and understand what LUSU actually is. We also need to make it multilingual, because having run one of File's most successful elections in 2011 with Carrie, we had posters in Chinese, and this increased international involvement. And this is a great way to get them involved in LUSU and get their opinions on matters if we get them involved in elections. I want to refresh the way joint media membership works. Currently, there's no definition at all about what this is, and in a Media Summit bylaw meeting, this appeared to be a big weak link. So this is something I would consult the medias on and work so that they can work effectively together, jointly, and removing the bureaucracy that comes in their way sometimes. I'd rework the way society's publicity officers are supported and give them the training that they need so that they can do the best job they can to let you guys know what's going on. As a publicity officer for Photography Society, I know that there is currently very little support at all, and the only reason I get any is because I know the people in charge. And this shouldn't be the way it is. We should have media training so that they can get out all the stuff that they're doing and make sure everyone knows about what the amazing events are going on, not just the bigger societies, but all the way from the smallest to the largest. This would extend to giving the JCRs the support they need. I've messaged every media-related officer in the JCRs to find out what help and support they'd want from their FTO. And should I get elected, I will go and talk to every JCR to give them the tips and tricks that I've learned, having been a JCR officer related to publicity for 2 years now, and so that give them the tips and tricks I've learned, as well as hearing what they have to say about what they want, and telling them what student media can do for them, so that they can work together and we can have the best promotion we can. I'd retain the support of all the medias, LA1 TV, Bailwig, Blue Cinema and Scan. They've had loads of support and they've been able to achieve amazing things, and I'd like to continue this and keep pushing it through, but they wouldn't be my only focus. I'd retain the individual identities of all of the medias, but bring their latest content into one multimedia site. This would make it really easy for the general student body to absorb the kind of content that they're producing and show off the best that the medias can achieve. They'd all still retain their websites and all still have their individual identities, but this would bring their latest content right to the forefront instead of people having to trawl all these sites. It would link into their current websites as well, and be a place where you can view all the live streams that are going on, whether it be Bailwig, Scan, or anything else. Roses 2014 is the 50th Roses, and I want to make it the biggest yet. We need a bigger pre-Roses build-up, not just the weekend itself. We need to push this to all the societies, all the sports teams, and all the medias, so we can get the best talent we can out on the field and show off what Lancaster can do and make it the best show we can put on.
1 minute left.
With the new kit, there are loads of other things that I'd like to do with this, and I go into quite a lot of detail this on my manifesto, so you can check it out if you want to see more. I'd also promote how we talk to freshers, because that's a big part of what we need to do, because a strong student body requires a full students' union, and we could create a place where they can see what's going on and what help and support we have for them to put them at ease before Freshers' Week. And I'd redesign the way vacation information is put out so people know how they can boost their CV and how they can find out when facilities and shops are open on campus, because this is a real pain for anyone who stays here over Christmas. There is vacations.lusu, but it's been totally forgotten about. And I'd remodel the way LUSU login works and mix it with HQ, so you've got a system that you can personalise and find out all the information you want from societies, JCRs, and all the events and things that are going on, and you can make it really your own. I'd make it easy for the student body to find out what's going on and make LUSU really work for them and make it the best it can be. I've worked really hard and had loads of experience from all over LUSU. Thank you. Check out my Facebook page at facebook.com for
Time. Can people at the back hear or not? Can people at the back hear? Funny, 'cause it's, make sure you're close to it.
Whenever you're ready, Rach.
Two years ago, I was commentating on a darts match with Belrig FM at York Roses. We'd slept for about 6 hours out of 48, and it was about 11 p.m. at night. York needed to win the men's darts to take the Roses. All over, things were getting pretty tense. Then someone threw a pint over the darts board and the scoring equipment. All hell broke loose. The men with the scoring equipment packed up and left. Everyone, bar the players and the media, were asked to leave, and the game continued. To cut a long story short, Lancaster won at darts game, and we went home at about 2 a.m. It was that Roses weekend, and that darts match in particular, that made me love student radio and made me realise how much I loved what I did. There was a bit of time between then and being elected Vice President of Media and Communications, and a lot of things happened in between, but it was because of that passion that I ran to be Vice President of Media and Communications. I still have that same passion for student media, but alongside this I have developed a passion for student politics and representation. I have found a love for colleges this year that I never experienced in my undergrad years, and this has made me grow closer to the students I've worked with and more inspired to push their views and opinions to the university, ISS and the union. In my last year in office as Vice President of Media and Communications, I've gained invaluable experience in communications, employability, being a political officer for students, events, campaigning and working on the new LUSU website. Last year, a lot of my policies were focused around getting student media into the fabric of LUSU, getting LA1 TV a home, bailrig funding for some very much needed upgrades and repairs, and increasing scan readership. I feel I've achieved this and have definitely put the concerns of student media to the forefront of LUSU staff and officers' minds. I would very much like to continue this progress, ensuring student media always have a solid ground within the union. One of my objectives this year was to remove the role of scan editor from the Vice President of Media and Communications role, and I still feel that this gives scan a lot more freedom when publishing pieces that may be critical of the union. This is something I have found hard to do with the editor attached to my role, and something I have strived to do this year. However, achieving this, I believe that it is vital someone with knowledge and experience in scan to be in office next year to support the new scan team and their new structure. There will be teething problems at first with the new structure, and it is vital that scan isn't seen as less important because it is no longer a paid position. This year I've worked towards a project called Make It in the Media, which focuses on helping students interested in careers in media get a foot in the door by networking with industry professionals and seeing a real working media environment. I would like to expand this project out to other Northwest media outlets by working with other media officers from other unis such as Manchester, Preston and Liverpool. As part of this process, I have also started the opening of a Student Newspaper Association, much like the Student Radio Association and Student TV Associations. This would provide student newspapers across the country with a chance to network, share best practice and seek advice. This is something I would like to continue if elected, to install the project into the fabric of LUSU and helping students have the extra experience when leaving university and looking for employment. There are a lot of things I've done this year that I can continue to talk about with, but I think it's more important that I tell you what I want to do if I'm elected. I have a lot of ideas for elections publicity and awareness for LUSU. I believe that elections publicity needs to start at the beginning of the year, creating an understanding of what LUSU is from the start of the year. This will include what your union can do for you, who you can talk to, what an FTO is and what they do. This will eventually build up to elections, encouraging people to run and understand what they're actually voting for and running for. I believe this will develop an understanding of LUSU and work towards making a more accessible union. I admit that I don't know the solution to encouraging women to run in elections, but I pledge to investigate this and work across campus to encourage women to run for union roles. Alongside this,
1 minute left.
Okay. Alongside this, I'd like to run a campaign allowing students to criticise the union, allowing them to come to officers and tell them what they think we're doing wrong. Something I've enjoyed doing this year is working with JCRs, societies, clubs and teams. I'd like to work warm with these groups to promote their events, campaigns and activities along with charities. As well as this, I would like to help them access understanding with their students in a similar way to the way I'd like to work with LUSU. Going back to student media briefly, I've worked with LUSU Cinema this year to get back
30 seconds.
To get it back into the mind of LUSU. I've worked closely with Vale Reg FM over the year, getting them funding equipment. I've worked with all student media on Rose's coverage, not just for this year but for next year, finding out equipment needs, requirements. There is loads more I could tell you, and I'm running out of time. But I do love my job, and this passion won't die, and this passion is just going to get stronger, especially that representing the views of students politically across the union. Sorry, I ran out of time.
Sure. Right, okay. We're now going to take questions from the floor. Right, are you ready?
Yeah, where am I going?
Charlie, Chris, Ronnie, and then Charlie.
Hello. Hi guys. My question is, I think one of the big parts of this role is being an ambassador for the university on a national level, especially in terms of the award-winning student media that we have on campus. My question is quite basically, what experience do you have at representing Lancaster and specifically its student media on a national level so far, and what do you think you could do to improve this?
If we could go to Rachel first for that one, please.
Okay. When I was station manager, and I've continued doing this year as well, I've talked to members of the Student Radio Association, I've talked to people at NASTA, I've been to national media conferences, I've got some great networking going with people from Amnesty International, BBC, Guardian, things like that, people within associations related to media as well, and representing the university on that level and student media through other channels as well. I've also gained an understanding of how other student medias work and how other student unions work with their media, and I think this is really positive because it's allowed me to gain perspective on how we actually run on a national level as well. As far as representing us to universities goes, I've done nothing but push how important student media is to the university and the students within it, and getting out information as well.
Okay, thank you. And Jordan?
I haven't had the most experience with this yet, but it is something that I will really push if elected. I'm really dedicated to this, and I'm dedicated to the Students' Union. This has been seen by the fact I'm a publicity officer for Photography Society, on the JCR, a scan photographer, and I help out from the media from time to time when I can, as well as doing a physics degree and being in my final year. I'm really dedicated and hardworking, and this is something I'd really push to represent Lancaster. I've also been representing Lancaster students' views on every single LUSU council at a more local level, all the way from the start of this year, and I've been to everyone, especially in particular when I haven't even been elected, to support the roles, and I've been quite vocal when I haven't agreed with something. So I continue this and push it to a national level if elected.
Thank you. Chris?
Hello? No, there we go. Roses next year, the 50th Roses is going to be, the media coverage will be the biggest media coverage and event ever undertaken by student media. So this is mainly for Jordan, but if Rachel wants to comment as well, given that you have very limited or no experience in content production management or event management within student media, how are you intending to support and coordinate the student media coverage of this?
What I would do is I would consult with all you guys to get all the knowledge that you've learned. I'd work with all the people that I've made friendships with over the years, all the managers, to get your experience and work with you to see what you want to do. I'd use your knowledge and experience and the tips that you've learned over your time to advise me in the best way that I can help you guys.
Thank you. Rach, do you want to comment? Or?
Yeah, just a quick comment. I've worked largely with radio on Covering Roses, so I know the problems that we've all had when we've worked together with the ins and outs of how it works. I was in a meeting the other day and someone briefly said, oh, student media won't need any more money for 50th Roses. They did okay last year, and I hit the roof. I know that a lot of our constraints last year were down to finances being stretched so thinly between us, so fighting for finances for Roses 50 next year for media is something I definitely want to work towards. As far as the coordination goes, I know what we've done, I know what works well, and we can definitely progress that, and with more funding we can definitely coordinate it to be a much better than we did last year, even though we all won awards for it, which is amazing.
Okay, thank you. Ronnie?
Yes, it is on. Good. Obviously this year the scan editorship was made a unpaid role. I'm just interested to know, in the event that this strategy turns out to be a dive, because it is quite ambitious, what's the plan?
To Rachel first, please.
Okay, something I can compare this to, your biggest fears I can compare this to. LA1 TV have really struggled this year as far as exec goes. They've had pretty much three people constantly running the exec side of the station, and they've had a lot of support from ground members as well. So working with LA1 TV this year, I've seen the problems that you can have when you don't have a paid position. Scan editor next year, I've said it will have teething problems next year. That is something that if elected I will strive to help them through, get them running more smoothly, even if that means, and I know people aren't going to like this idea, taking Scan down to being published 3 times a term so they can take time to get back on their feet and get content going. If they do sort of take a serious spiral downwards, then I will be there to pick them back up and help them through it, as will people and staff and officers inside LUSU. We're never just going to let something like that happen. We're not going to let one of the longest running student medias die.
Thank you. Jordan?
Yeah, I'd like to echo what Rachel says. We're not going to let anything bad happen to it if either of us are elected, I'm sure. I would work to support the office. I would work to support the person in the role, because I know a lot of people have had a lot of criticism, and they reckon that as soon as anyone gets elected to it or put in that role, they're immediately going to suffer with their uni work. I know from experience that you can do a lot of things and still manage to achieve your uni work. It is possible, and so this is something I would work to help them with. I've worked with Scan at a ground level, and I've also worked with them on media board to see what, at both ends what's going on, and so I'd work to give them an overview. But if Bailvig and LA1 TV can work with voluntary station managers who do an incredible job, there is no reason that Scan can't do the same and achieve still the same high standards that we've been expecting from Scan.
Thank you. Next question is from Charlie Stevenson, in the middle.
Hi. I know that Cartmel JCR, Media and Comms Department, have recently really updated the Cartmel LUSU website, and it looks fantastic. And I've just been alerted to the filed JCR website, which again is totally up to date, but a lot of the other colleges aren't. What would you do to ensure that the college websites are up to date so that students can access the information where they're told they can access it?
Okay, that's to Jordan first, please.
Well, I think the reason a lot of people don't update their website is there's a really bad culture of, okay, so students aren't looking at it, so we're not going to bother updating it. We need to really push, and I would really push, that we have to create something they want to use and enjoy using for them to actually use it. There's no point in waiting for a massive student update, because students aren't going to look at a website that's massively out of date. Once you redesign it and make it something they want to be, in a place that they want to be on the internet, and make it really useful for them, then they are going to use it. And this is something I'd really push to the media officers and give them all the support that they can, and the knowledge that I've learned from rebuilding our website over the past couple of weeks.
Okay. Thank you. Rach?
Okay. One of the things I studied in my walk week training, and this doesn't mean that I believe it at all, I just threw this out as a debate question, was, right, okay, I'm going to take all your college websites away from you, and you've all got to just use Facebook instead. And the debate that we had after that was absolutely incredible. People really fought for their college websites, which shows that they are really interested in doing them and do want to work with them. One thing I suggested, and that we all seem to agree on, was updating the website 2 to 3 times a year with major information, because they are hard to keep updated. I know myself from keeping Scan's website updated, I don't have the skills to do that, and some officers won't. But training people on the skills to do that, allowing them to use the website when and as they see fit, and have it more of a ground level information source and a constant source for update. Using Facebook more for like quick, get the message out there things as well. But training and working with problems on it is definitely something that needs to happen more.
Okay, thank you. Lizzie has a question.
Right, this is a question for both candidates, but it has its foundations in something, Jordan, you've said in your manifesto. You've said that you want to re-energise officer elections. So can you both tell me how you've done that with your current election campaigns?
Jordan, that's to you first, and can we ask that you speak, get close to the mic, thank you.
With my current election, I've put out a lot of posters, but I've also done a massive digital campaign, because this is where one of my strengths really lies. If you have a look at my Facebook page at facebook.com/Jordan4VPcoms, it's really up to date, it's always being updated. I've got a few little surprises coming your way over the next week. There's content, not just images and text, but pictures, video content. At the minute, I've also updated an app where you can follow #LUSUelections on there, so you can do that just from my page without even having to leave it. And so I'd really push the fact that we all spend a lot more of our lives on digital media. This is something that we really need to push and really need to make important.
Thank you. Rach?
Okay, first of all, I'll admit I haven't campaigned to the extent I really wanted to this year. I have some great ideas, but due to working full-time, I found it really hard to actually get out there and campaign, and due to some personal issues that happened at the start of campaign period, I wasn't in any fit state to campaign for a few days. But I've got some fantastic ideas coming out. I put loads of campaign material out the other day and it all got ripped down, which is really sad. But what I've got so far and what's going out there is creative. I've tried to keep it different. I've tried to keep it a bit edgy. As far as future campaigns go and how mine's going to go, I've got a lot of knowledge in design and creativity, being an art student and working with the LUSU design department. So I do know a lot about design and things like that, which definitely plays in my favour. But as I say, my campaign so far hasn't been the best I can do, and I know it hasn't, but it is going to get much, much better.
Okay, thank you. Lizzie's got a follow-up question, yeah?
That's okay. Again, just to pick up then, Jordan, on something you said. It's all very well and good using Facebook, but we've got a very big international community here. We've got a very big postgraduate community here, quite a lot of whom don't actually use Facebook. So what beyond social media would you be looking to do to engage with these groups?
Is that specifically to Jordan?
Yeah, we will do.
Yeah.
Beyond social media isn't the be-all and end-all. All the candidates so far that have spoken have all talked about social media, but no one has mentioned the website, which is a really powerful tool. It can be really multimedia, and it's so much better than just boring Facebook text. So this is something that I'd really push. I'd really push for there to be a place on the LUSU website where you can easily find all the information that'll be relevant to you. I'd also really push posters. I know it's really, I won't say old school, but it's something that's really lacking in South West, because I've walked around and I've noticed a massive lack of actually any election material down here, bar the little walkway. So this is something I'd really push. I'd also make posters in international languages, which you'll see appearing around campus of mine soon, because this really boosts international involvement. When we had this in Filed, we had more international students than our SCR ever remember having in any election beforehand. So I think putting it in languages that their own language and the major languages that are on campus will really boost their involvement in elections.
That's time, thank you. Liz?
Hi, both of you in your manifestos have talked about changing the LUSU website. You should both be aware that it's changed over to NUS Digital. I was just wondering what kind of ideas you had moving forward with this new scheme.
If that can go to Jordan first, please.
I've got loads of ideas. I've been sat there in the audience listening to what everyone's had to say so far, and I've had some really, really good ideas. A couple of little bits that I've just picked up because I've got those, I'm picturing it in my mind at the minute, is, for example, on the activities page, instead of it just being a really boring long list that nobody really likes to look through, we could have it as, for example, like 6 squares where they're all related to different fields, one for sports, one for things to do with your degree, like the Law Society and stuff like that, and then a random one at the bottom that just randomizes and shows you a big event that's coming up in a random society, so you can try something new. Another thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to put on the LUSU Living section of the website a report a problem button. So you can go on there and you can 24 hours a day report if something's gone wrong, rather than having to wait for the office hours for it to be open, because that will surely speed up the time that we can have. I'd also work on the front page being less dull and blocky, because there's a massive message at the top, but then everything else is lost, and you've got to trawl through menus. And I'd also make it work on as many devices as possible, because we're all on ridiculous numbers of devices now.
Rachel?
Thanks, Liz. I was aware that we're changing over to NUS very soon. I've been in the meetings for the last year, redesigning the website for the new website launch. I've worked towards making it a much nicer place for students to be, something that actually offers them political information, telling them what their officers are actually doing, as well as making the activities page a lot more accessible. One thing that I was very keen on was having sports scores and fixtures a lot more accessible, because I know that when I want to see where County are in the darts league, it takes me about half an hour to find the page. So making things like that a lot more easy to find and a lot more accessible are definitely on the ongoing list, but the new website isn't going to be the absolute ultimate answer. It will still need working on. I could go through all the things that we've done to help the website and fix it when we move over to NUS Digital, but it will take up far too much time. But, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Charlie? Do those two on those table and then we'll go to Steve.
I guess this is another website question, but this is can we just have a little bit of clarity on the joint media site that you're planning, Jordan? And also, this was in your manifesto last year, Rachel. Have you tried it and for some reason it didn't work, maybe? I don't know. I know Bailrigg FM, we've got our own webmaster, and Scan have their own web editor, and I'm not really sure about LA1, but I think all the media are kind of a little bit worried about retaining their own individual kind of websites and identities.
Are you happy with that question? Yeah. Go to Jordan first.
Yeah, this is something that Charlie mentioned to me when I bumped into him earlier in the week, and I realised that this would be a concern, but I actually have a mock-up on my tablet I can show you afterwards of what I was thinking, of just kind of getting what's in my head onto something that you can see. It would literally be a site, for example, called media.lusu or something like that, where you will see it will pull all the latest content from all the various different sites. So you'd have at the bottom, you'd have LU Cinema's most recent listings and ticket prices and when stuff's on. You'd have what's playing on Bailrigg and the listen in button, so you can listen in just from that site. It would not be replacing any of the media's sites or trying to do anything to ruin their individual identity, because they're all amazing and they do some amazing stuff. It would just be pulling all the latest content into one place so everyone can find it and students can really get access to what they want to see, like the latest Sugar TV, for example, rather than having to troll all the websites or relying on Facebook. It would also link into all your own websites, which would still be retained.
Yep.
Okay. As far as this goes, I really don't like this idea of having a joint media website. I've talked to student media about it, and all student media, and something that I've tried to push this year, is that, yeah, we have this idea of joint student media, which is where you pay your £3, we work together on some levels, our bylaws match up in some places, things like that, but a joint media website just does not seem to be a popular idea within student media, and I know that I don't like the idea myself. I don't personally see how you can integrate all 3 websites into one, but then allow them to keep all 3 websites separately and expect them to be used. I think having a joint media LUSU website would remove the names from the student medias. I think they just start to get referred to as LUSU Media, and I know that I definitely don't want that. And I know that Scan, LA1, LU Cinema and Bailrigg don't want that.
Okay, thank you. Charlie, did you have a question?
Thank you. I'm sorry that I'm bombarding people with like student media questions. This is the first time in the history of sabbatical officers of the union that we actually don't have a title referring to media in one of the titles of the sabbatical officers, but it is still obviously going to be your job. I would just like to say that, yeah, consultation with the student media doesn't obviously just involve bumping into me every now and then. What I'd like to just know really is just, for both of you, is could you just name me one big problem that you think is facing each of the four student media in fact, yeah, Bailrig, LA1, Scan and LUSU Cinema that they're going to face over the next year, if it's okay.
To Rachel first, please.
Sorry, is this one problem per each, or one problem for all of them?
I could go on loads of problems for everyone, but
just
one would be nice, please.
One for each?
Yes, please.
Okay, for Scan, the first one is the worry that print media is dying. Moving over to online, there's a lot more pressure to do that for Scan. For Bailrig, it's always been listeners. People say, oh, no one listens to Bailrig, when in reality, people actually really do listen to Bailrig. Bailrig it's definitely been taken a lot more seriously than it used to, as regard to listeners and things like that, so that's a problem that still needs working on. In regards to LA1 TV, their exec is their massive issue at the moment. They don't have anyone, they're not at the moment seeing people to jump into the new exec roles, and the worry is that management will sort of hit a bit of a lag and things like that. LUSU Cinema is an ongoing problem I've been working with all year. They need a lot more LUSU support in scheduling, finances, training, things like that. The problem there is that the ball was dropped them a long time ago, and it's only just been picked up this year, and it's been very, very hard to get my way back in there to help work with them and gain their trust.
Thank you. Jordan?
So Rachel's taken a few of the points I was going to say, but I'll try my best. With the LUSU Cinema, it's definitely getting people aware of they're actually existing and they're not part of the university, they're actually part of student media, because that's currently unaware, and a lot of people don't actually know what it is on campus because there is no signage and all their notice boards are out of date, and I know this is something they were complaining about, a media board. For Scan, it's definitely the fact that a lot of their online stuff is out of date, and the whole team do an amazing job, but as they haven't had a webmaster, this has been something that's really lacking, and I know a lot of people like to go and have read a bit of the article in the paper and then go and check out a bit more online. With LA1, it's definitely their exact handover, because I know this is something that's been brought up quite a lot in media, and when I've been talking to you guys, this is something that's been a problem. And in Bailrig,
10 seconds.
You guys do a really, really good job, and there isn't a massive problem that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you. We're now going to Steve, please, and then to Crosby, and then Lizzie.
Hi guys, my question is just for Rachel. We can't work together for a year without me asking you a horrible question. Some people believe that to be able to rerun in an election, you need to have an absolutely solid record and then fantastic new ideas that you haven't had a chance to implement during your year in office. Do you think that you've got a solid record, and do you think you have fantastic new ideas that are going to drive you forward and motivate you for the next year?
It's just to Rachel, then you've got a minute whenever you're ready.
Okay. I think I've had a pretty good record. I mean, you yourself said to me that I go above and beyond the call of duty. I put too much hours into my work. My boyfriend broke up with me because I spent too much time at work. I love my job. I'm incredibly passionate about it. As far as new ideas go, elections is something I'd love to work on in the coming year. Having Scan editor taken out of the role has made it, is going to make it a lot more easy to do things like campaigns and really push student opinion and engage two-way conversation between students and LUSU as well. The idea of creating more of a view of LUSU officers being political officers that are there to act how you want them to towards the university and push campaigns forward for you is something that I definitely would love to work on and want to continue doing, and have very, very strong ideas for. Elections is another one. I really would want to work on elections and help push that across the year.
Thank you. Chris?
Thanks. We're in the middle of a year of massive change in the student media. LA1 have had a move of space, some really good investment, but we've got LA1 have got a move of space move coming up, which will throw up problems. Bailrig are looking to upgrade their studios, which will undoubtedly throw up problems, and the changes that are about to happen with the FTO structure implementing SCAN is also going to create problems. So how are you going to support student media in relation to these and other problems through the next year?
Mr. Jordan first, please.
The way I would support is everyone's going to be moving about this year with the LUSU move, and so this is something that we're all going to be experiencing. But basically, I would listen to you guys as much as possible on what problems you're facing, and then I would do my utmost to fix the problem. And no matter how many hours it would take, I would do my absolute best and put everything into making it as easy as possible it is for you guys to continue the amazing work that you've been doing this year.
Okay, thank you. And Rachel?
Yeah, there are going to be problems moving around. It's never easy. I've seen how much trouble you guys have been into moving around. I remember Josh running into my office and go, "Oh God, we've got to move office in 2 days. What do we do?" and panicking, and it'd been awful. But we made it work, and we got you into a really great space. Admittedly, the space that you're going to be moving into isn't going to be ideal, but ideally, I want to work towards getting student media a great space where they can work independently and then at times work together as well when they want to in a shared space. There are going to be a lot of changes, a lot of teething problems, but I think when LUSU enter this new building, they should enter it with a new mindset and a clear opinion of where they want student media to go, with a lot of consultation with you guys so that we can work through these problems and not just sweep them under the rug and go, "Oh, they've moved, so they'll be fine down there in the bunker now. They'll be happy working under the rug over there." That isn't the mindset we should go into it with. We should go into the mindset of continuing to develop it as we're going to develop the union in the new building.
Thank you. Lizzie?
Okay, guys. One part of the remit which I don't think anyone's questioned you on so far, which is the new bit, is campaigns. Sometimes with campaigns you have to respond very quickly because things can be thrown at you. You've not very much time to plan. You just have to get out and do something quickly and be seen. So what I want to know is what experience have you both had in organising campaigns quickly in the past, and what ideas do you have for mobilising a large amount of students in a very short amount of time?
Can that question go to Rachel first, please?
Okay, so a great example at the moment is exactly what we're going into with this emergency general meeting. On, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, we suddenly got told that we were told we're going to have an emergency general meeting, and that was literally a campaign on the spot, come up with ideas. Now, we got a sign out there. I'm currently making a tombstone to go in the middle of Alex Square that says RIP music on it to have a sort of hard-hitting message and encourage people to come down to the general meeting. So we've mobilised that really quickly, and there's been a lot of pressure in getting photographs with people with this sign, making people aware. We've had to fill a massive knowledge gap with the arts departments and the music problems going on at the moment. Another one is the counselling service. The counselling service went from bad to worse very quickly. So I got a massive piece of cardboard, stuck a huge screenshot of the counselling service is no longer running picture on it, and went out straight into the square for 2 days and got as many people to sign it as possible. So keeping ideas quick and fresh that you can act on quickly is something that I'd work on.
Thank you. Jordan?
Mine's a campaign in the sense that it was a week-long event, and this was Freshers Week. I was elected a week before Freshers Week in 2011 to work with Steve, and I, in 3 days, created the entire publicity for that entire week and updated everything as much as I possibly could within the amount of training that I had, which, considering I got elected in the holidays, was virtually nothing. And I think we had a really good Freshers Week and really publicised it well and got loads of people involved, as can be seen by the new exec being most of the freshers that we helped move in.
Thank you. Are there any more questions from the floor? Yep.
Hello. This is following on from sort of what Lizzie was getting at, but it's really good in the sense of like with something like music, you've called general meeting, you're getting it out there, you're getting everyone interested. But one of the issues would be is what would you do in terms of preemptive campaigning? In terms of like what's happened is that we've been told the music department, well, the music degrees being cut, people being made redundant, and as a student body, it seems that we're sort of responding to it happening, and we can challenge it. And I think with council servicing, it's good in that sense. But what would you do to sort of mean we don't have to have a general an emergency meeting that we've already through sort of grassroots stuff challenge decisions before like they're fully through, if that makes sense.
Happy with that? Jordan first, please.
Yeah, we definitely need to be more proactive rather than just reactive. A lot of the time, student media find out things first, and LUSU then has to react to them. And this isn't how it should be. The Students' Union should be the one that find out first, because we're the ones that can affect change, but we also should then pass this on to the student media so they can inform people as well. And this would just be working really closely with the university to find out what they're doing. I do this already, working with our SCI. I know this is at a low level, but this is something I'd really work to push, and so that we can find out really what's going on. I'd also work to get a student's opinion on everything as much as possible. We have your voice, but it's really underlacking. And I think if we just ask students to just, instead of having to go to this place, just send us tweets, send us messages with their problems and what they think is going, what their opinions on things and how we can change it. That would make us much more proactive rather than just reacting to everything.
Thank you. And Rach?
Okay, so preemptive campaigning, yeah, there is a massive issue with it. We need to be able to get information quicker. The university are often quite reluctant to give out information like this, so by the time we get it, big changes have already been made. We need to start acting sooner when we hear small things, but a massive problem with that is how do we make people care about something that is only a small thing at the time. There is a lot of work to be done on filling knowledge gaps and things like that, and getting people to care about it as soon as possible, even if it is just a small bit of information. Quite often we find out a bit of information and then we can't act on it because no one cares enough until the mud hits the fan. So yeah, it's quite hard to get people to care about things before things really kick off, but preemptive campaigning is definitely something that I'd strive to work towards. It's a really good question though, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more questions from the floor? No? Okay. Thank you very much then, candidates.